Hello, hello everybody. This is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. I'm gonna wait just a second and see who jumps on real quick. So I am a few minutes late because we had, of course, a little bobble on Facebook. We went live just a second ago. There we go. We went live just a second ago, but it was on my personal account instead of the Flower Shop account. And so I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get anybody to respond to me. And I was like, well, there you go. It's because I'm on the wrong account. So I'm sorry I'm late. Happy Thursday. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. So today I am going to make an arrangement in this really pretty antique milk glass container. So I went to West Point a couple weekends ago. Mom and I went shopping and I found this little container. I think maybe it was less than $10, but I love it. It's such a pretty container. It's got the little glass edge that's kind of lacy. And what I've done is I've just taken some Oasis and I've taped it in. But I love pretty antique containers because they just make flower arranging fun, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with some really pretty foliage. I've got all my eucalyptus. You know how I like eucalyptus. But I was in Kroger this morning and I was picking up a few things. Well, of course, I went by the produce department and they had these beautiful green Granny Smith apples. And so I love the color of this lime green. It's just such a pretty pop of, it really reminds me of spring. It's just so pretty. So I'm gonna tuck these Granny Smith apples into this arrangement today. But I'm gonna start with my foliage. So today I have seeded eucalyptus. I have spiral or baby blue eucalyptus. Now this is the eucalyptus that really has that pretty fragrance. It smells so good. This is the kind that you always put, you can hang in your shower and it just kind of puts off that pretty eucalyptus smell. Makes you feel like you're in the spa, right? This is called Italian ruscus and I love its drippiness. It's just such a pretty viney foliage. And then this is silver dollar eucalyptus. So I'm going to start out by greening out my container. Now, I think, you know how I just kind of design on a whim. It just comes to me and I do it. So I'm going to start, what I'm going to do is it's going to be more of a long arrangement. So it's a long low instead of just kind of a round wad. It's going to be a long low arrangement. So I'm going to start out with a little bit of eucalyptus. And this is seeded eucalyptus, which is such a pretty foliage. And you know, I always like eucalyptus. It's just so pretty. And I realize that not everybody likes it. But I just love that it has such a pretty whimsical look. The seeded is so nice to work with. So I'm just taking it and popping it in small pieces. And I am just tucking it right into this Oasis. So tell me how you're doing today. How is it where you are at? It has been very, very cold here in Mississippi. I don't think we've gotten out of the 30s today, which is not very typical of Mississippi. I'm going to come in with some of this Italian ruscus. Ruscus comes, this variety is called Italian, and then there's also Israeli ruscus. Israeli ruscus is a little bit of a, I would call it it's a chunkier foliage. It doesn't have this vining effect, and it's more of an upright growth than the Italian.
Miss Carla Justice says, I love what you do from Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, Miss Carla, thank you for being here. I'm so glad you are here. It is a lot of fun. What I do really is a lot of fun. I've got Victoria helping me today. Victoria, Owen is in class. Owen usually helps me, but he's very quiet. So I actually got Victoria to talk to me this afternoon and read to me what you're saying because it's hard to read and design. So thank you so much. So what I'm doing is you can see how I've got a lot of foliage still left on this. So I'm just taking it and cutting it in smaller pieces and spreading it out into this container, into this arrangement.
Miss Tina Boswell says hi from, I believe, Picayune, Mississippi.
Picayune, Mississippi. Thank you, Miss Tina. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Miss Janice Langford says hello. It's cold here in Carthage.
Is it cold? Y'all got snow and we got 0, Miss Janice. No snow the other day. And Jason said y'all got, what, 5 inches? We saw some snowflakes falling, but we got no snow. And we're North Mississippi compared to Miss Janice's south. So I was like, that's not fair. We're in our little bubble.
And Miss Lisa Thompson says very cold here in Louisiana too.
Oh goodness. It's no fun. I don't know. I'm one of those that, I guess it's dang if you do and dang if you don't. We want it to be winter, but then we don't want it very winter. I don't mind snow once in a blue moon, but I don't want it too cold. All right, so what I'm doing here is, this is that silver dollar eucalyptus. And so I am just taking it and I'm just popping it in smaller pieces and I'm just tucking it right into this arrangement. So you can see how on the front and the back I've done it kind of, I've done it more compact, and then I've left the edges pretty long. So next what I'm going to do before I finish with the foliage is I'm going to start tucking in some flowers, and then I'll come back and add more pretty foliage. And so I'm going to start, I got in these beautiful Colombian grown carnations. And so they're really kind of a mauve color carnation. I have not seen this variety, and I don't know the name of the variety, but it's so pretty. So today I thought we would use some of these carnations. I'm going to show you a trick with a carnation. You can kind of see how tight that bloom is. I'm going to take it and I'm going to hold it between my, my thumb and my pointer finger, and all I'm doing is I'm brushing that carnation. And what that's doing is causing that flower to open right up. See how it's opened up? Now I'm going to take these carnations and I'm going to tuck them deep into this arrangement to give us some depth of color. And I'm going to take it, you see how tight that bloom is? All I'm doing is I'm just wiping, just brushing those petals. And the reason you hold it between those fingers is because if I held it like this and I brushed it, I'm going to pop its little head off. And I don't want to pop its head off. So I'm just tucking it right deep down in to that oasis. Now, I realize not everybody loves carnations, but I like them. I really do. They last a long time, and some of the varieties are just amazing. Like this mauve color, it's hard to see on my sweater, I know. But that mauve color is just really, really, really pretty, in my opinion. I also like to use carnations sometimes when it's hard, when your arrangement doesn't have a whole lot of water. You can gather the carnations and do 2 or 3 stems together. And what it's going to do is give you the same effect as a hydrangea. And so it kind of gives you a larger bloom. I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of gives you a hydrangea effect. And so you can take them, cut them all at about the same level. Now, you can wire their little heads together, or you can just tuck them down in that oasis side by side pretty tight, and they'll usually stay together pretty good. But see how I've done just one large clump, and so it kind of gives you, it kind of looks like a hydrangea instead of a bunch of little carnations.
Hi, Miss Janice. She said hi to me.
Oh, did she? I'm like, where is she? I'm looking.
Hi. And then Miss Carla Justice says you are so talented.
Oh, thank you, Miss Carla. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn it back around and show you. See how I kind of gathered 3 stems together? So it kind of gave us a hydrangea effect. Now, the reason I chose not to use hydrangeas in this arrangement is because I'm not going to have a good enough water source. Hydrangeas like lots and lots of water. You know, they just need lots of water to stay hydrated. And so these carnations give us that look, but they stay hydrated and stay pretty much longer. So you can kind of see where I tuck them deep into that arrangement. Okay, next I'm going to come in and I'm going to take our little Granny Smith apples and I am going to tuck those into this arrangement. So these are just wood picks. You've seen me use them a lot if you've watched me at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just taking it and pushing it right down in to that apple. So it gives me a stem for the apple to stick into my arrangement. I'm just going to cut that little wire off and put it right in the garbage. And I'm just going to tuck these guys deep down into this arrangement. But look how pretty that lime is. Isn't that pretty, that lime color? And I'm just cutting that wire off. And I'm just tucking them deep down into this arrangement. Now, I am one of those people that I do not like a Granny Smith apple. I like the looks of a Granny Smith apple, but I don't like the tartness of a Granny Smith apple. Now, my children love them, but I do not. I like to arrange with them, but I don't like to eat them. So my children think this is a waste of a good Granny Smith apple. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm just taking that stem and tucking it right in.
Miss Beverly Anderson says, thank you for sharing your talent and knowledge.
Oh, thank you, Miss Beverly. I hope you're having a good day today.
And thank you, Miss Carla. She'd be very nice.
Everybody's being nice to you, Victoria.
Oh, they're really nice, yeah.
I know, aren't they wonderful?
Thank you, Miss Carla.
I'll have to get Victoria to come around and wave to you so you can see our Victoria. She is a wonderful designer. Okay, so you can see my little green apples tucked in all that pretty foliage. And those pretty, I guess I would call that a dusty rose colored carnation. So next I'm going to come in with some white stock. I really like stock. Stock smells pretty. It comes in lots of pretty pastel colors. I thought we would use this white today because it would kind of reflect our little white container. So I'm going to take our stock and I'm going to give us just a little bit of whimsy in this arrangement. I'm just going to tuck a few stems tall and a few stems to the side. Now I am using a knife and not everybody likes to use a knife. Actually, I am the only designer in our shop that uses a knife. Everybody else uses scissors. I just find a knife, I don't have to set it down every time. I can keep it in my hand. But I like to use a knife, and my girls do not like to use a knife. So you can see how I'm giving it some length on each side with my stock. See how I've got the sides? And I'm just taking that stem and I'm cutting it at an angle. And the reason you want to cut your stems at an angle is because if it's sitting on the bottom of a vase, that point, so when you cut it at an angle, that point would sit on the bottom of the vase just like this, and so it has plenty of room to drink up the water. If it's like a straw and you cut it straight across, if it sits on the bottom of that vase, it's hard for it to take up any water. And so that's why even using scissors or snips, you're going to want to take it and cut it at an angle so it'll be able to drink up that water real easy. Okay, so there's our stock. I'm going to turn it around for you so you can see all the sides. So there's our pretty stock. Next I have Crispidia or Billy Bogs. Now look at these sweet little flowers. So they're kind of just pods. You can see it's just a sphere. It's all the way around. It's just a little ball, almost like, I guess what, a golf ball. These are actually a little larger than we usually get, but I love their whimsy. It's just a pretty little pod, I guess. I don't know if you would really call it a flower. So I'm just going to tuck a few of these in just because they're just so fun. And I really like the yellow. Okay, so I've just tucked a few of those right in. Well, let's cut that one a little shorter. All right, and then next I have some little white standard daisies. So these are just little white daisy mums. They have the little yellow centers, just white daisies with yellow centers. And I just thought that this would be pretty with my white stock and my yellow billy balls. I'm just gonna take them and take the individual blooms and just tuck them right into this arrangement. I'm not gonna stick the whole stem in, because I want it to just kind of be scattered in there. I don't want it to be, I guess, too chunky, if that's a word. So I just don't want it too compact of daisies. So I'm just taking the individual stems, cutting them off just like that, and just tucking them here and there. Turn it around for you. So you can kind of see how I tucked that little guy in, and then I have one right up here.
Sue Dean says beautiful.
Thank you, Miss Sue. Thank you, ma'am.
And Miss Carla Justice says love yellow. You don't see that in arrangements much. Beautiful.
I agree. Yellow is my very favorite. I am one of those designers that if you tell me I can't use yellow, it's hard for me to make that arrangement. So I'll have to say, here, Callie, Victoria, y'all have to make this one. I can't do it if I can't have yellow. It's my favorite. Yellow's just so happy.
Miss Sheila Criddle says beautiful.
Thank you, Miss Sheila.
Miss Leanne Crowley Cooksey says it was great to see you and visit with you a minute today.
Good to see you, Leanne. And I did contact John and reached out to him and told him hello. I haven't talked to him in quite a while. He seems to be doing well. All right, so I have my flowers in my arrangement. Look there. I'm going to put a few more daisies on this side. And then we are going to finish it up with just a little more greenery. Victoria, from that side, do I have enough apples in it? Do I need some more apples? Are they hard to see?
No, I think it's pretty.
Is it pretty? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of this baby blue or spiral eucalyptus in it. Now, let me just say, when working with this type of eucalyptus, it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever worked with like cedar or pine. It's sappy, it's sticky, so it gets kind of sticky on your hands, and you kind of have to use Dawn dish liquid because it's so sappy and sticky, but it is pretty. Now, this type of eucalyptus my sister Robbie is allergic to, so every time she uses this eucalyptus, she has to wear gardening gloves because it just blisters her fingers and makes her kind of break out. And so we have gardening gloves back here so that Robbie can put them on during Valentine's Day. You know, our big holiday is coming up, our crazy, crazy holiday. And my sister Robbie always comes and helps us for Valentine's Day. And so Robbie, anytime we have this type of eucalyptus, Robbie always has to put on her gloves because our hands will be so blistered. But it is beautiful. And it is smelly. When you say Victoria, it is a smelly eucalyptus.
Yes.
It really smells to me like Vic salve. How do you say that? How do you say that? That's one of those words that it's kind of like, I'm not going to say it because Worcestershire sauce. It's one of those kind of words, isn't it?
Yeah. Miss Kim Ware says, so glad I caught you live.
Oh, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. You know, I do love the fact that you can always go back and rewatch videos because I'm one of those that never catches a video live. And sometimes it's nice to be able to fast forward when people are talking too much. Right, Robbie? She picks on me and says I talk too much. So she just goes and watches it and fast forwards through my talking. She says I talk too much. I'm good at that. I sat in the thinking chair talking, thinking about what I was talking about in the 2nd grade. So I spent a lot of time in that thinking chair. All right, guys, so here is the arrangement. So you can kind of see how I did it. It's long. It does have a tiny bit of height, but I think it would still be a really good centerpiece where it's not going to be too tall so you can still see over it, but it's really very pretty. And it's pretty all the way around, because if it was going to sit on your table, you want it to be pretty on all sides. And I like it. I don't know about you. What do you think? Tell me what you think. I'm going to take it outside and take its picture, because it's always much prettier when you take its pictures. Guys, thank you so much for being here. If you like these videos, please share so that your friends can see them. And I want you to tell me if there's anything you want to see. It always helps me out if you've got any ideas. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it, and we will see you all real soon. Have a great day, guys.